Hi. So this is discussion 10 teaching methods. So, hi everyone. Today I'm going to share a teaching method I really enjoy using called total physical response. It was developed by James Asher in 1970. So basically, the main idea is that students learn best when they can connect with words to action. So instead of only listening or reading, depending on what the child is reading, um, students can say, for example, the word "if I jump," or they say "if I jump," um, to touch your head, or the concept. This helps them remember, you know, using their emotions and their body and their intelligence. For example, we tell the kids, everyone touch your head, so it's everyone's using their bodies to get that concept out of, understanding of like physical response. um not just not It's especially too great for younger students because it's interactive, engaging. Students don't feel pressure to speak until they ready, which builds them confidence. For me, this method is exciting because it transfers the classroom into a space for movement, energy, and active learning. As I use this in aftercare, a lot of them, when they scream a word out loud, they're basically moving around. I see this all the time during my hours, and when I do field hours. The kids, when the teachers say, "Hey, stop what you're doing," all the kids like drop their pencil or like their movement. So why did I choose? Why this fits me? This fits my teaching style perfectly because I love being hands on, interactive. I enjoy seeing students move, laugh, and actively participate rather than just sit quietly at their desk or just looking. I also appreciate how total physical response allows students to learn at their own pace. Some might need a little more time to get familiar of the idea when teachers asking something to do. I feel it makes the class more energetic and positive because the students understand and they're happy and they're being active and they're listening. um Especially if their body are moving, that gets them more attentive um when they're learning. So for my lesson plan, I focus on second grade. I think second grade is very, it's in, it's one of my consideration as a future teacher that I want to do. Um, I focus on second grade, and the subject science, and the the guard second graders learning the parts of a plant. So basically, that the main goal is for students to identify the roots, stem, and r- leaves, flowers. I also want them to respond verbal comments correctly, which ties directly into the TPR, which we start with a simple diagram to help students visualize each part. I introduce vocabulary words: root, stem, leaf, flower. Um, it shows a real life example when possible. For instance, I may bring a small plant or show a picture. This gives a hands on connection to the words they will be acting out by combining the visual diagram with physical actions. Students are more likely to remember the terms, understand function of each part of plan. So basically, my classroom, I will bring them a plant and tell them all to point out what part of the plant is that from the leaf or the stem, to point out where the stem goes, where is the leaf. So I will show them either a diagram, or I will show them uh, basically an actual plant so they can point out with their fingers or touch it or see it. Um, so for the instruction activity, I this I give commands as students act. For example, I might say touch the roots. I tell them to touch the roots from each plant, because I would give them um, little plants so they would easily like interact with me, and as when I say touch the roots, they will touch the roots. Then I might say point to the leaves, and they point to the top of the plant. So we can make it more fun by pretending to water flowers or grow stem reaching up to the sun. So giving them commands a little more gives them more understanding. Um, the students love the word to action meaning. This makes learning more natural, more memorable, because they're not just repeating words. They're physically engaging with the content. I also walk around, observe, giving praise, encouragement, which motivates them even more. So basically, like, I would give them working them in groups or in pairs to actually, like, you know give each other, oh, what is this, where is the stem. Each group would say, hey, um follow along with the teacher, with me, and say, oh, where is the stem. So each group would work to point out from the picture that I have on the piece of paper, where is the plant, where is the leaf, where is the root. So for the assessment, um after a TPR the students work and they get them, I assess by them by observing their action, checking their labeled uh diagrams, seeing how they gauge they are in activity. I will ask them to label the diagram participation, and each group would have a discussion how they will find how they verbally interacted, how this makes sense with them. As an exit ticket, I will play Kahoot with them. It gets them an interaction where, you know, playing Kahoot gets them more assessed where they understood of my activity with they did it with the pair, with the group, or with me. Um, okay, so to wrap this up, it reduces stress, builds confidence. I've seen this in aftercare. A lot of the students working with when they're reading, they're basically motivated to stand up. Um, Thank you for watching. I hope this inspires you to try TPR activities in your own lessons. Thank you.